Hi, and welcome to This Is with Emra. In today's episode, this is Nicole Nurthen Photography, and we're talking to Nicole, who is the owner, and she's super nice, super professional, and I can't wait to share her story. So let's welcome Nicole. Hi, Nicole. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. This is awesome.
Yes, I can't believe we're actually doing this. We've been talking about this for a little bit.
Yes, it's kind of weird being in front of the camera now instead of like behind it, but I kind of like it. It's fun.
Yes, and you look amazing.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
So, I own a photography studio. It's been about 9 years, actually in a full studio space. About maybe, 11 years as a full-time business. I started off initially with psychology as my major, and I worked in that field for a while. But I always had a love for photography. I was doing it in high school. I was always having a camera in my hand because I guess it was instilled on me with my grandparents. Like, they were always taking pictures because back then, like, you didn't have phones. You had just the film camera.
Right.
So it was like, we were always capturing those moments, and it kind of made it like, this is important. You should have these moments in your life, like, to remember and on like some sort of film or document, So I guess I naturally wanted to keep doing that, and it grew eventually from a hobby into my main source of income.
This is amazing. So you went from psychology.
Yes.
And how was that experience being a psychologist?
So I wasn't psychologist. I was more on the level of they called it therapeutic support staff. So initially I worked with kids over in Philadelphia who had behavioral health diagnosis or autism, or other mental health diagnosis, and we worked in the school system and in their homes, like trying to provide them with ways to still remain in a main classroom but work on coping skills or things that they might need to help them. And then I went from that to working with adults, trying to set them up with, like, they would come out of hospitalizations or something, and we would have to help them get resources like housing or food resources, other services to help them, therapy or actual psychiatrists and stuff like that. So I was more of that realm.
Okay.
With
Very
it,
important.
which it is. The mental health field is just a real struggle to do, even with me helping them. I can't imagine some of these people being able to try and get these resources because they're limited and far and few between, unfortunately. And it's something that definitely needs more attention because everyone needs it, whether you just have a little stress, a little anxiety, maybe you feel depressed, but people just don't know like what there is out there and stuff. So it was an interesting time, and I always loved art, so art was kind of like my relaxation time. Like, whether, like, I used to draw a lot when I was in high school, and I would just take the pictures or do like different kinds of art related things.
Do you remember when you exactly decided, like, this is what I'm gonna do? Like, from being a hobby and relaxing, and it's like something that you truly enjoy, because that's something mental health too. Like, you have to do something that you're really passionate about and truly enjoy.
So the main flip from it being, I guess, a hobby to a business was actually when I was pregnant with my son. So I was working initially basically 7 days a week, working my main job 5 days a week, even editing and stuff at nighttime, and then doing photo sessions and stuff on the weekend. So when I was pregnant, I'm like, we gotta decide what I want to do, because once he's here, I can't work 7 days a week. That's like insane. So what are we gonna do? So I basically talked with my husband. My business was growing at that point, even though it wasn't full time.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I think we can do this. Like, I think we can make the leap. We could take the switch, and I do photography full time, and like let go of like my job, my career, and like make this maybe the thing that would be my source of income.
And it will be more flexible for you.
And that was the other thing, where like the amount of money we would have had to pay for childcare, like that would have ate up most of the money I was probably making working a job that was a lot. And it was a stressful job. It had times where you got stuck there, later than you were supposed to be. So it was like, why am I going to do that when I can watch my son, make my own hours, and make almost the same amount of money and not have to pay childcare on top of it. So it was almost a no-brainer, but it is a scary risk to go from a steady income to like, hopefully this is going to be a steady income, because it's, you never know, it's based off of who books and who does it, you know?
Yes. And how was the plan? Because then you have to develop like a whole plan. And why Nurthen?
Yeah, so I initially didn't have a studio space. I started off working with another photographer as like her assistant, her second shooter, and then I worked for another company as a main shooter. And I guess maybe 2 years after my son was born, the opportunity, I wanted to get a studio space, but I didn't know where. It was kind of based off of what I could afford, you know? And my husband grew up in Pennsauken, which basically surrounds Merchantville. So we live there now. So we've been downtown Merchantville often. We are regulars in a lot of the places here. And
Is that cute?
it is. It's a great little downtown. And my husband gets his hair cut at the clip joint down there, and he has since he was young. And the middle store, which is currently Peak Secondhand, went up for rent. And that was my first studio, actually, because they were just talking. And that's what I love about this town. It's very tight-knit, family-oriented. You really get to know people. And he was just talking with the guy who owns the whole building, but he cut the hair there at the time.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Oh, your wife's looking for like a studio space?" I was thinking of renting the little shop because it wasn't rented out in a long time.
Yeah.
And just talking, and he's like, "Oh, I don't know if she can afford that." He's like, "Well, what can she afford?" And it was just like, he was just willing to do it. And that's what, like, I love it, because he knew my husband, he knew the family. And that's how I feel like a lot of businesses are here. We're very, once you get to know us and you get to know the people, like we get to know you. We ask about your kids. You ask about our kids. Like it gets really close. And I like that. And I always love that feeling. Like I grew up in a small town too. So everyone knew everyone. And it's kind of like a good thing sometimes to have that closeness with people.
It is. It is very, very like emotionally supportive as well, and they're willing to help you and lend you a hand. I know as soon as I reached out and I said I want to do this project, you guys were like, yes, let's do it. Let's see how it's going to work out. We're here to support you, and I appreciate the support and you guys being here.
Yeah.
So what are cool things that you're doing right now in your own photo studio? And you went bigger. Like, let's go from like
I know. Yeah. So I initially wanted a space. Like I started off doing a lot of weddings and, you know, doing some family sessions outside mostly. And then I wanted to work on developing my in-studio space. So I wanted a space where I could meet my wedding clients and stuff. And then like it came to like, I want to grow my studio work. Like I really enjoy doing like newborn sessions and maternity. And I wanted to have ability to have big families in here, which over there is a little smaller. So it was harder to fit like anyone that wanted a larger group family or anything like that. Because it wasn't a good shooting space, basically. So this had a lot more room and opportunities. So I was like, can I move over? Because it was like empty again, unfortunately. And well, it happened around 2020. So I moved over here in 2020, which was a year a lot of businesses had a hard time. But I was like, I think if I move over, it would help me grow. And it has. It is definitely given me more opportunity to have different setups in here. I've had larger setups for like my holiday sessions, which is nice because they're always a popular one. And now I'm trying to do more of the fine art maternity and whatnot, which, you know, needs these bigger backdrops that have like floral and artistic textures on it. And I just really am glad like now I have a bigger space to like come up with like use all my ideas. You know, I have all these ideas and now I can finally like, yay, let's like get it all going.
And you mentioned to me you also do dogs.
Yeah, so like I love dogs. I mean, I've had a dog all my life, and I really want to like start doing. I mean, people brought their dogs before, so like they're like, "Can we bring your dog?" I'm like, "Yeah, as long as they're like, you know, not aggressive, obviously towards strangers. They're always welcome in the studio. So even if you want like family photos with your dog, like you could always bring it. But now I want to kind of just focus on dogs and like give them their like own little personality shoot, like fun, candid. Like I seen from I forget what probably started this trend, but you like throw treats at them and you catch them as they're trying to like eat it. So you get these funny, like happy, like goofy faces, and it's really funny, but it just kind of, I think, shows their personality and gives like a really cool piece that I think you would want to hang up of your dog, you know? Like some people like really love their dogs. I love my dog, and like having a very nice, like professional, fun photo, like hung up in your house, I think would be like, oh, that's like such a cute, like, you know, highlight in your house of like that happy little puppy. And like initially the dogs I just had in the studio this past week, they're adoptable dogs. So I was like, what fun way to build my dog portfolio than to get some adoptable dogs in here.
That's awesome.
And work with like, you know, a rescue or, you know, and take some fun pictures of them so they can use it for them to like try to get them adopted, and I can use it for like my portfolio too, and get some practice with the treat throwing thing. That was harder than it looks. Like there was a couple dogs that are like, "What are you doing?" Like they just stood there as I like threw the treat at them. It was really funny, but it was a good time.
I bet. I mean, and you're fun to shoot with.
Yeah.
I did my photo shoot with you, and I was like, you know, you come prepared in your mind, you're thinking you're prepared to do all these poses, and then I'm like, okay, what am I doing? But you kind of like guided me through the whole process, made me feel really, really comfortable, and I loved the whole photo session with you.
Yeah, I'm glad.
Thank you. And thank you for sponsoring me as well.
Yes, of course. Like I'm always like, I can try and find some way to help you, whether it's monetary or like providing or switching services. Like I'm all about that. Like if you have something I can use and you know you have something I can give you, like I'm good with, like I like exchanging that, you know. So I'm glad, and I think I mean you looked great, and I think they're already like making you look so much more like, whoa, like this could be a queen.
It's me.
I know, like she.
And then you brought the fan.
Yeah, I know. The fan is like key. The fan's like the best part. You get like that whole Beyonce moment. You know how she has her fans when she's doing her concert, like because it makes a difference.
Yes.
It's kind of cool.
It was really fun. That part was really, I was like, wow.
Yeah.
This is really
Yeah,
cool.
I mean, my goal is to like hopefully like you're comfortable, you're having a good time, you feel natural, because I don't want it to be too posy. I want you to kind of like, you need some guidance and some pose, because it's different than just taking a selfie. Like you can't just sit or look a certain way, because it does matter in like, you know, composition of like how the photo looks. You know, you want it to look well and like not awkward. It might feel awkward, some of the poses at first, but it's definitely in the result, it's worth it. Yeah, it's good.
And then I saw on your website you do crochet.
Embroidery. Yeah.
Okay. I'm like, wait,
I just started that because again, I don't know if it's the Pisces in me or what, but I constantly like to come up with new creative things. Like I need different. Like I like doing like obviously like I don't mind doing the same studio stuff over and over, but I need something different every now and then. So like
I'm like, where are all these ideas coming from?
So I'm like, okay. And I started doing photo embroidery. Again, I saw it on like Instagram. This woman was doing it to wedding photos, and I'm like, that would be a great way or an added gift I could give to my clients, you know, just embroidering like the bouquet in the wedding photo or adding something else to it. And it could be a service that I can provide people who aren't my photo clients. So like if someone else wants to get their photo embroidered, you know, for an anniversary, say, or something like that. Like, as long as it's a good quality photo, like, I can sit there and try and embroider it.
So it doesn't matter if you took it the photo or not.
Yeah,
you could just bring the
like you can. It's like a new service, so it's not. It doesn't have to be like my clients per se. It could be like anyone, and it could be just a vacation photo. It could be whatever, and it's just an added little detail, you know, to it that makes it kind of a cool piece of art, and like you would want to hang it up and it have that pop of color in it with the embroidery. It's a fun technique. Like I was watching the tutorials about it, and it was just like, this is actually really cool. Like she like teaches you how to do it and different little things. So I'm like, even if I just am learning a new skill in life, it's kind of useful as well, whether it winds up being something that works in my business or just something I learned.
And that's something good about the technology, because there's so many things going on online, but you can learn a lot.
Yes.
You can learn a lot on your own. If you really want to learn something, you just kind of like go on YouTube or Google and you find ways to learn it. So on your website, I see that you also do storybooks. So tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so that's a new adventure that I am exploring. It's basically where I would take a photo of someone, probably going to be geared more towards kids, but can be, family oriented too. And it's on a plain white backdrop, and then I Photoshop them into this completely Photoshopped background. So, like, I did one recently where it was, Bruno from Encanto. Like the kid was like dressed up and like you made like this whole room and it had sand, and so it's meant to make little storybooks. I'm working on one that is Alice in Wonderland theme with someone. So the goal would be to either have like one photo that's like very fairy tale themed, whether it's with dragons or dinosaurs or like a favorite storybook, and your child becomes the main character. And you can either have one photo that you kind of print out and have like hung up, or like you could do.
My son is into Minecraft.
Yeah,
so
he could be like a Minecraft world, But then like the bigger goal or the bigger thing would do a couple photos, and you would make a book. So my goal is to like give you a physical book with your kid in the digital images as the main character with like a little bit of story to read, and then they could read. You guys could read that to them like to bed, and it gets passed down hopefully generation to generation, like as like an heirloom gift. Like my kids in this book, and then they read it to their kids, and it's them as a kid. I just think it's like a cool concept to have something that physical like that can be passed out and be fun at the same time.
I have a lot of like new little things coming into place.
Yeah.
Right now you're having an event for Valentine's?
Yeah, so what I love about Merchantville is that a lot of us try to collab with one another, and I think the ones that work on, community instead of competition, like that's how we grow as a whole downtown. And I'm working with A Million Little Things, which is like a body cafe where you can make your own face mask and body scrubs, and she does candle making there too. So we decided like for Valentine's Day, let's do like a date night, and you can come down with your spouse or your best friend or your mom or your daughter and go make candles for like an hour or so, and then you come over to here and get like a photo shoot, because like how often do couples probably go get photos professionally done while they're dating or live after their wedding photos? It's like I hear so many stories, right? See, exactly.
I did book my session, so I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
And to making my candles and then coming over here with Jack and taking my picture.
Mm-hmm.
I still don't know what I'm wearing, so like I'm still on the side. I'm like, what am I? Should I wear this? Should I wear that? And I'm very excited to have a professional photo of us taken, because we don't have one since we were like married, and then everything else is like family pictures.
Yeah.
So
and I hear that all the time. Like so many people, they're like, we haven't had our pictures done since the kids were little or since we got married, and it's like, why? Like, do it. Like, don't wait. Please don't wait. Like, because you never know, and like those are like what you have forever, so you should keep them.
Yeah, and it's fun that you're doing it together with another business. Like you said, that you guys are working together instead of like being competition.
Yep.
So I love that.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to say anything else about the vibe of Merchantville, and why should people come over here? I mean, I feel like it's a very cute town. I feel like it has a lot going on.
Yeah, so this is my 9th year, going in my 9th year here, and it has had its struggles. I mean, there's been a lot of turnover because we are a very cute town, and we are a more affordable town than I would say a Haddonfield or Collingswood if you're looking to start a business somewhere. But it's a drive-through town, so it's, people drive through to go to Betsy Ross Bridge, and it's a lot hard to get attention around here. But we as a business district have been really trying to work together and find ways to draw people here, have more events. There's some really great events that the businesses started, to draw people here. Like we have an art walk every year, which was started by Elin Arts, and that is another one of those collaborations where she was like, oh, hey, let's, get art in each of the businesses, and then people walk around and go check out the art, but then they're seeing your business at the same time. Or, we have a toy fair like that the collectible toy guy started, and we're just really trying to get people to recognize that we're here. Like we're known for Monsterville, but there's a lot of great other things besides Monsterville. I
know, the whole town transformed itself into Monsterville. This is really cute. The only town that changed their name.
Yes, officially.
Officially.
Yeah.
But yes, and you have a lot of like little cute stores, and then you have the restaurants.
Yes, we've gotten a lot of really good food restaurants in recently, and they kind of keeps going. So definitely come by. It's a good night out here. You can get a good time.
Yes, a night out, a weekend with the girls, come in and walking around. It's a very nice place to walk around. They also have a nice trail. If you want to walk with your friends or your kids, it's a great place to visit.
It's always busy in the summer, that walking trail. People walk like up and down it, and it hits like right through downtown, so people stop and go get ice cream or go get whatever on that mile walk. I think it is a mile.
About depends. Yeah, mile or two. If you go all the way.
Yeah, I know.
All right, so you've been here for 9 years. What advice do you have to somebody that is about to start their own business or is thinking about starting their own business? Is there anything that like they should watch out that you maybe thought I shouldn't have done that, or maybe I would have changed that?
Yeah. So one thing I suggest mainly is focus on the money end of it. I am very much creative mindset, so that was like always on the back burner for me, but it is so important. Like, and know your worth. Like, a lot of people start off super cheap, and I think if I could go back in time, I would have raised my rates way sooner than I did. I think it's hard, especially in the creative field, to feel like you're worth that amount of money or that you can charge that amount of money. They call it imposter syndrome a lot. Like, you don't feel like you're good enough to be worth that much, but trust me, you probably are, and you're undervaluing yourself, and you're never going to build and grow efficiently if you don't charge the right amount. One of my most favorite workshops I did was a photographer who taught you the back end and not like posing and stuff, because you can get that all day every day, you know, like someone who tells you how to pose and do this, but someone who really told you like you need to do this, like focus on your back end and figure out what your bottom line is, like what you need to make, you know, like you need that number to be successful. If you're just kind of going like, all right, I'm making money, this is good. Like, no, you need to get it down, because that's the only way you're going to grow. And you're going to realize you need to be probably charging way more than you are, because there's so many expenses when it comes to running a business that I think that gets overlooked like a lot. Like, people just, like myself, spend more than I was probably making because I really didn't sit down and do it. So that's one thing I definitely would focus on, and just have more confidence than you think. Like, be okay. Like, you'll find the people, even still, I'm always worried about raising my rates, but I'm like, you know what? I will find those people, my people, the people who appreciate, who value me, who get the process and understand, you know, everything. So, you know, it's scary, but
it's a process to get that picture, to get that natural, like the way that you're creating this art, and then the time that you take to like pick out these pictures. They take a lot of pictures.
Yes.
And it takes time to like narrow down all those pictures.
Yeah.
So it's definitely something. You're a professional. You're giving out an amazing product. My pictures came out amazing. I was like, is that me? You know. So yes, definitely have that going for you. Yeah. So it's been amazing talking to you.
Same. This is fun.
This was really fun. I hope you all enjoyed watching and listening. And subscribe to the channel so we can keep bringing more stories to you. I hope everyone has an amazing day, and I'll see you next time.
Bye. Thank you.